Please note, extensive research and surveys have been performed to create the following video. If you feel this video is incorrect, please leave a comment below to prove your point. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, to start us out today is Dr. Alfred Binet. Besides inventing a wonderful haircut for the 19th century, the French psychologist is accredited with creating the first IQ, or intelligence test. He was more interested in the workings of the human mind, and furthermore, he wished to classify it. He created a test capable of assorting children in groups based on the present average. IQ is the ratio of mental age to chronological age, with 100 being average. According to Howe, who wrote the book IQ in Question, the IQ test only measures a tendency to grow. Once a certain age is reached, it becomes an ineffective measurement. This means the younger you are, the easier it is to reach a higher score on the IQ test. Binet's work set off a passion for testing, and in the enthusiasm, a widespread application of tests and scoring measures developed from relatively limited data. So you can thank him for your tests at school. Being experienced with test frustrations and failures, I began to inquire why and how tests affected us. On the outside, we act like scores really don't affect us, but deep down, we are really ashamed or proud of our test scores on the ACT, SAT, and the IQ tests. Seeking public opinion and what other people thought of the IQ test was the next step. One of my survey questions asked why high IQ was important. This was the most noticeable response. A responder said, "The only reason I can think of is pride and bragging to everyone. It is more important to have common sense to deal with everyday issues. You can solve more with common sense than with high IQ." Was this true, or is it just a personal opinion? To answer this question, I went on Google Scholar and researched how IQ scores affect people in the business world and later in life. This is what I discovered. IQ only determines potential. IQ only accurately predicts success in school. Research indicates that children with exceptional academic abilities may experience social problems. However, one of the primary combatants of this theory was Lewis Terman, who stated that kids with high IQ were stronger, better, and more intelligent when it came to life. He conducted a very popular experiment in the 1920s that yielded new data on IQ. In the 1920s, Terman conducted an experiment with 1,500 children and traced their lives all the way till 2003. Only 200 were remaining at that time, and he was dead. It was discovered that children with higher IQ in the 1920s were more likely to become successful later in life. Most of them became doctors and lawyers and made $3,000 more than the average person. Also, 2/3 of them had obtained college degrees. So what does this mean? We have one group that believes IQ is directly linked with success in life, and we have another one that believes it's only linked to success in school. Are both related, correlated? You can be successful without going to school. So how does IQ tie into all of that? All these questions about IQ are confusing, and I think more research needs to be done, and more surveys and experiments need to be conducted. IQ's importance to you depends on your values and how you see it. Nothing more, nothing less. And this explains why I got such a variety of answers when doing my surveys. However, we cannot deny the disgusted feeling we get when we receive a low score on a test. We want to feel smart. We want to be intelligent. That way we don't become obsolete. Here's an anecdote about a girl who felt she became obsolete. After scoring a 109 on the IQ test, she felt like all she could do was average. Most modern-day business leaders would argue that success is built from failure. However, in her case, she allowed her IQ score to become a crutch for permanent failure. I have learned that people in college are affected by past ACT, SAT, and IQ scores, and they have agreed that low scores have changed their attitude towards tech. So my final question on this topic is, does IQ change identity? Does this emotional response to having a low IQ score affect who you are? With all these various elements tied together, I think that IQ is directly linked to identity change. So once again, I question how many identities are created from tests. For instance, if you don't pass the SAT, you remain a high schooler forever. If you fail to pass certain tests for your bachelor's degree, you don't get that degree. So, not passing these tests or passing them determines your future. You can't deny that. You can have the identity of a janitor from failing a test, or you can have the identity of a doctor from passing a test. I mean, the one thing all these tests have in common is the effect, an effect on our lives, an effect on time. It changes who we are and what we do in the future. And this is my final point. IQ tests, ACT tests, SAT tests, they all have an effect on our future, and ultimately, our identities. Thank you for watching.